Sorry, I wasn't even talking. Um, is that everybody? I think we can start now. We have enough people. Okay, hello, my name is Nolizong. Welcome to another RICHCODE lesson. Today we're just gonna quickly review everything you guys learned last time, these loops and stuff, and then we'll do some exercises and challenge problems. And some of these are pretty hard, so maybe we'll just have to go over them together. All right, let's just start. I'll quickly go over everything. First, for loop. You guys should remember this. Just iterate through every item in a sequence one at a time, and you iterate through an iterable, such as a Python list, and perform operations on each item one at a time. And iterables are also not just limited to lists. You can also, there's a few other iterables like tuples and stuff, but lists are the main one. And so this can be like an array of integers, strings, stuff like that. Pretty simple. Range generates an iterable with the numbers from 0 to n-1. So this would generate 0 to 4. And it just reruns the for statement, the for loop with every number. Pretty simple. Index. Okay, so sometimes you don't want to get the value in each item directly. So use index so that you can access the item and also print out the index at the same time, because sometimes you actually need to know the location of things. Same thing with this. Enumerate. It's basically the same thing as using range, except it gives you another variable. So you can just you can just use the variable instead of having to call it from the list every single time. Which it's functionally the same, but it cuts off like a few seconds of typing code, which can be pretty helpful. Break and continue statements. The break statement just, quits the loop early. Sometimes you need this if you for example, here you found 3, so there's really no reason to continue past 3. Keep searching. So you just stop at 3, and that just saves some time in your code, which can be very helpful. And continue. Continue similar to 3, or similar to break, but it stops the rest of the code inside this loop and it restarts the loop. Or sorry, it reiterates through. Anyways, special usage else. So guys use this in if loops, but you can also use it for a for statement. So if you go through an entire for statement without breaking, then the else statement runs. And if you break, then the else statement won't run. While loop, also pretty simple. Keep running until this condition is false. If you also want to run forever, you can just, well, this can happen. You can put something that won't become true. You can also just do while true. And then since this is always true, this code will always. So, which is why you have to add a break statement here. Have statements. Oh, yeah. Just nothing happens. Sometimes you need this if you're for example, if you're coding something else and then you have a function that you're going to write later, you might want to just put a pass inside the function so that you don't get errors all the time. Okay. That should be everything you guys went over last time. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, we'll do some exercises. I think these are pretty short. I'll give you guys a few minutes for each one, and we'll see how we do. So let's just start with the first one. Iterate through a list of numbers and print their squares. And I'll just give you guys like, I think 5 minutes should be enough. And maybe just type something in the chat when you're done. So, can move on. Oh, sorry. Uh, you guys should be trying to do these exercises by yourself right now. Very good. Should make that more clear. We're just doing the first one right now. Okay. Has everyone? Oh, whoops. Has everyone tried this first one? I'm just gonna go over it quickly. All right. For num in my list, so we're iterating through the list, and then we're just gonna print out square of num. I think it's an operator was after. Something like that. We run this, then we get the square nums. So I saw some of you guys were using num times num. That works, but also the general like I don't know if you guys know this already. The general operator for exponential is just two asterisks. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, sorry to call you out, Tiao, but in your code you said for a in list print a times a. That there's just that works, but there's just one small problem is the list is already a what do you call it, a function in Python. So if you try to use list, it causes some problems because you're normally you would use list to like make a new list like this, or like you'd turn something into a list with this function. So I would just avoid using the same name for different things, or try using names that are already used. So if you just change that to something like array or nums, yeah, that also works. Okay, number two, iterating through a string and printing each character. You're gonna just try this by yourself real quick, and give me a heads up when you guys are done. Okay, I think 5 minutes is enough time. Has everyone tried number two? Only a few of you guys are talking in chat, so I'll just assume everyone did. All right, number two. Iterate through a string and print each character. So let's just make our string. And print out each character. So for print the character. Yep, I love learning to code. So I think I'm not sure if that's what you did, Joe. You said that that doesn't work, and normally you would be right. Like if this is integer, that wouldn't work. You can't iterate through the digits of an integer, but strings are kind of weird. In Python, strings kind of act like a sequence of characters, or like a so it is possible to iterate through strings, and this will just give you the character in each position. It is kind of weird, but yeah, that also works. And the other solution, which was to iterate through using the length. Wait, let's use Jeremy's code. It's probably the base. Green goes input. Hello. Yes, this also works. Um, this is just a little bit like longer because you have to get the index and stuff, but yeah, it also works. Okay, let's do number three. Use the range to iterate a specific number of times. This is a little bit like vague. Okay, let's do something like print out a specific range. Okay, go over number three. Just use range to print out or iterate specific number of times. Um, second step. No, okay, pretty simple. Number four, print out the position and value of each element in a list with enumerates. like if you have a list. That would be used as an example. New code. Remember, enumerate returns a pair of values, which is index and then the value of each element in the list. Okay, let's go over this. My list ABCD and for index, value, and enumerate. And anyway, there you go. Boom, boom. And last one, just use a while loop to count down. See how quickly you guys can do this one. This one's pretty easy. Okay, let's do this one. Number 5. Boom. Now let's do this one. Okay. And then, so while start is greater than equal or equal to 0, you print start. And then here you can do start either equals start minus 1, but what also works is just doing start minus equals 1. So minus equals and plus equals is just like incrementing and decrementing. So it automatically does what uh, start equals start minus 1 would do. Just save a few characters of code. Yeah. Okay. And these are also some solutions. All right. Challenge problems. Okay. These might be kind of hard. First one, calculate pi. Well, how do you do that? Well, the formula for pi is just simply take 4 and you multiply it by this sequence. So you do 1 minus 1/3. Okay, why does it keep doing that? 1 minus 1/3 plus 1/5 minus 1/7 plus 1/9. And just notice that it goes 3, 5, 7, 9. That's just odd numbers. And you have minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. And try using a for loop to automate this. There's also like a more general form of this you can use, which is just summing up numbers from whatever to get -1 to the power k, which gives you alternating negative and positive, and then you divide that by 2k plus 1. So your k would be the counter variable in your for loop, and just use this. If you don't know how to start your code, something like this. And then on each iteration of the loop, just add this formula to your term sum. Okay. Let's try to go over this. So since every number that's summed up is just this, we can just translate this into code to add. So every step we just do terms plus equals, and then this is -1 to the power of I, and then divide this by 2I plus 2 times I plus 1. And make sure to use parentheses so your code follows PEMDAS or orders of operations. Okay, that gives your terms, and at the end, just sum it up or multiply it all by 4. And how does it go with 4? Or okay. Wait, let's run this code first. So we got close. We see a few more terms so they get more accurate. We do 1,000, yep, get something like 3.14, which is close enough. So then face on some code. Renfei, do you mind if we look at your code and see what's going on with it? Okay. I'll fix the capitalization real quick. Yeah. So in Python, this works in like C, Java and C++, I think. But in Python, you have to do a pretty cool one thing. But yeah, so colon, oh, so, there we go. Okay. So run this code, we get, wait, should do, yeah, something so. Okay, so the reason why this doesn't give the expected answer is because all this looks like pretty correct. Wait, I have here. Oh no, I think, okay, so first you check if it's odd. Mod 2 is not equal to 0, so then it's odd. If it's odd, then you do um, that's the number of terms. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think Okay, I'm gonna get this. Okay, we're closer. Huh. All right, I'll admit you have me stumped. Okay, so if it's odd, I think you might have offset all this by one. Feels like, I don't know. I would just avoid all that and do the old code, which was raising to the power and then doing all that. Because this way you don't have to use if statements and it makes your code a little bit more easy, readable. Okay, let's move on. Oh, what the heck is this? All right, we're not gonna look at that. Okay, nested loops. Multiplication table. So just try to, oh, this got messed up. Okay, ignore the code that you just saw. Try to print out a multiplication table using a nested, or I should probably explain this first. So you can put two loops inside of each other, and this gives you a nested loop. And this is the example. It's pretty simple. You run this loop every time you run the iterate through the outside loop. So this inside loop runs 6 times, and the outside loop runs 6 times. So in total, you have, sorry, they both run 5 times. So in total, so you have 5 times 5 is 25 iterations. Um, yeah, pretty simple. So the thing to keep in mind when you're doing nested loops is your time will get exponentially higher with every loop that you add. So if you have, let's say, like a list with 100 elements, um, then you have one loop, it just runs 100 times. That's pretty quick. Your computer can do that pretty easily. If you have two loops nested inside each other, then you have to run it 100,000 times, or no, 10,000 times, which is still like pretty quick for a computer, like only a few milliseconds, I think. But then if you put three loops inside each other, so that'd be n cubed. So 100 times 100 times 100, that's something like, that's in the millions. And at that point, your computer is going to, or whatever you're doing is going to start to struggle, and it's going to get pretty slow. So just try not to overuse nested loops. For that reason, it's going to get pretty slow pretty quickly if you put too many. For most things, you probably want to only use two inside each other at most, and three is a maybe. So if you can find a way without using more than a few loops inside each other, then you should try. Okay. Now let's print a number triangle. Print a number triangle with a nested loop where each row contains incrementing number strings. And I think this means, what do you think? Why doesn't it work? Oh, the multiplication table works. This works fine. I'm just saying that, like, oh, for you. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe the code is a little bit different. You wanna print this or paste this in and run? Okay, try type just like copy pasting this in. Okay, string object is not callable. Do you think you can copy the whole error message and send it in chat? Let's try this next one first. That's text. Oh wait, I already have an example. Okay, so it wants you to print out something like this. We have 1 and then 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do this using 2 loops inside each other. Oh, by the way, there, when you're printing something, when you're printing something, if you don't want it to create a new line after print, because usually if you print something, then your next print is going to come on the line after it. And to do that, and when you're using 2 for loops to make this pyramid, you don't want that. So to avoid doing that, just do whatever you're gonna print here, and do n equals just space, because usually the end is a new line, but if you change it to just a space, then it won't make a new line. But then at the end, at the end of every line, you have to do an empty print so that you create a new line, go to the next new pyramid. Okay, let's do this number triangle really quick. Let's do layers for A5 like the example. So our first for loop is for row in range layers, and from none, and then row. Uh, that would be row one, starting at one and then row that way. Now we just print the number and then separate it with a space. And then at the end of the row, print an empty line. Okay. Yep. There you go. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this one? Not. Let's go on to the next. Okay. Try. You guys try this one. Okay. Let's go over this. All right, I'll just show you guys the code that they already wrote. It's pretty much the same thing, but you go in reverse. But you start at the number of rows, you end at 0, and you go -1, or you decrement by 1 each time. Then you do same thing for range J, print the asterisk and the space, and add new line at the end. Reverse pyramid. Boom. Okay. This one. Wow. A lot of variations of this. All right. Let's do this. Sum of each row and column. Given a 3 by 3 matrix, print the sum of every row. Okay. Did you guys learn about 2D lists yet? Okay. Well, lists can be two-dimensional. I'll just teach you guys. Okay, I'll just quickly go over it. So you can have a list of lists, basically. And to access this, you just get you have to index the outer list. So let's say I want to get the first row. So now I have to do 0, which is the first row. And then to get the element inside that little list, I add another square bracket, and I do, I get the first element again, so I get 0. So this gives me the top left element. If I want to get the bottom right, then I do like 2, 2. If I want to get this middle 8 element, then I'm still in row 2, and my column is 1. So I'll send this in cap so you guys don't have to. Let's just start with summing every row, just one direction. Okay, let's go over this one. Simple garbage matrix. So for row in matrix, then so this each row is a little list. So if I want to go through each row, I have to do another for item in row. Let's do the sum from 0. And then do sum plus equals item. And then at the end of each row, we print out the sum. Well, yep. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, right? 4 plus 5 plus 6 is, oh, I'm silly. Sum has to be reset to 0 every step. Okay. So 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. No, it's not. What's going on? Okay. Now I should work. 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15, and then 7 plus 8 plus 9 is 24. Okay. That was weird. All right. Now generate all unique pairs of numbers from two lists using nested loops. I just showed you that first. What does this mean? So if it gives you list 1 is 1, 2, 3, and list 2 is 4, 5, 6. Well, actually, you know, we're out of time. Okay, maybe we'll save this one for next time. But to quickly recap what the new stuff in this lesson, it's just you can put for loops inside of for loops. Don't put too many of them at once, or else it's gonna get too slow. And yeah, that's it. Oh, you can also put lists inside lists to match your loops inside loops. Okay, that's everything, guys. Uh, do the job. Do you want to stay for a bit? And I'll help you with your tech stuff. Anyways, that's it, guys. Bye bye.